Hello and welcome to another episode of The Heart of the Matter. I'm doing things a little differently today. I've decided that I'm going to make my coffee and have it while I do this podcast. So if you hear me moving around in the kitchen like I just closed the fridge door, that's just me making coffee. It's early in the morning in New York City and a beautiful day. And today I want to talk a little bit about why consistency is so incredibly important in relationships and why we perhaps don't want to be absolutely consistent as we've been in past relationships in the new ones we're getting into. So if you're now in the dating, on the dating scene, I want to share a few tips that you probably want to take with you as you move into that dating world, just so that we're not making the same mistakes or we repeat the same patterns that we've had in the past. So consistency, we all know, is incredibly important for relationships because consistency is what makes us feel safe and secure. If we know what's coming towards us, if this person's got a particular pattern, then we know, okay, we could relax and we could feel safe because this person does not have an agenda. We know what to predict. And why is that so important? Well, if you think about, let's go back to primitive time, caveman days, then it would have been necessary for us to predict predators. We want to know that our homes are safe, that it's well secure, that the person we choose to protect us and our children, that person is capable of that, of protecting us. That person has proven that they can be there for us in the past. So now we're feeling a little more safe. The home is secure. We know that a wild animal can't just barge in and eat us up in our sleep or our young. So consistency, making sure that that home was consistently safe was really important to our survival. Appreciating that the person that we choose to either protect us or back then in the man's case, he needed someone who would provide that nurturing for his offspring. So both parties needed to know that there was consistency in behavior so that they can survive and so that their offspring can survive, and we continue this beautiful cycle of procreation. But you get the gist of it. So that was why, and that is why consistency is important. We are human beings. We're an organism. Our main goal is to survive. And so we will do anything physically and emotionally to feel safe. Now, in today's dating world, it's a little different. We tend to bump into a lot of relationships, especially with people who've got an avoidant attachment style. And then initially we find that there's consistency. We find that this person may show affection and attention. They want to see us. But then those of us who've dated those with an avoidant attachment style, we can appreciate that after some time, things start to shift and change, and we no longer feel like we know what's really going on here. So what do we do in this new pattern that we're trying to start? What we want to do is take our time, and I'm going to take a short sip of my coffee. Oh my gosh, I am such a sucker for Trader Joe's coffee. It's an instant coffee, and I'm not doing a promotion here, but this thing, I remember when I bought it, someone told me it was like crack. And I don't know what crack tastes like, but this is really, really good coffee. I really shouldn't have said that. I'm not promoting anything that's dangerous to us. I'm strictly saying that the coffee is great. Now, back to the topic of consistency and why it's so important. In today's dating world, a lot has shifted, and perhaps because a lot of us are more aware of ourselves, our emotions, our triggers. A lot of us have started to study more the psychology of us and others. And so we're in a better position to reflect upon a first date, a second date, being with someone after 3 months and seeing the shifts and changes within ourselves and within that person. And we're now being a little bit more careful. Also, we have that group who have done so much healing that now they're absolutely comfortable with themselves and they just don't trust themselves, perhaps, to go out and give someone a chance and then get disappointed. Now, we want to avoid that. We want to be able to enjoy relationships and, not sign off on them. So if you're someone who's looking for a healthy relationship with yourself as you get into dating someone else, or as you allow or give someone else permission to come into your space, then this is the podcast for you. You want to date, but you want to trust yourself to make the right decisions for you at the beginning of the relationship and as the relationship progresses. You want to make sure that you could trust yourself enough so that if this person becomes too enmeshed with you emotionally, you will be able to pull the plug if need be. So here we go with the tips. In the beginning of your dating scene, in the beginning of your dating life, I would suggest you go into it expecting yourself, priming yourself to take things slowly. Look at your first date as just getting to meet a new person, getting to know someone. It's like walking into the supermarket, bumping into someone and starting a nice conversation. You may end up talking about different places or different cultures. We don't know where that conversation is going to lead. So I'm asking you, yes, while it's going to be a planned date, just go in with the mindset that this is another human being and I'm just getting to know them. Now, if you like this person, especially if you're a female, do not reach out to them after. The only reason you should be reaching out to them is to say, hey, thank you so much for coffee. Thank you so much for dinner. I really appreciate it. I had a great time with you. Or it was lovely to meet you. Then let it be. Wait to see how they respond, when they respond, and what they're saying when they respond. If they take 2 to 3 days or a week and they respond with, oh yeah, really nice meeting you too, we should do it again, don't assume that you're going on a second date. Just take that as literally as you possibly can. Why literally? Because we don't know this person enough to have a good gauge of if this is a read between the lines kind of person or not. So let's take it literally, move on, explore other dating options. And should this person reach out again in about 2 weeks and says, hey, was wondering what you're doing tonight, would you like to go out? Then I would suggest a hard no. It's too short notice. You don't want to give the impression, and you should not be in a position for someone to think that they can easily reach out to you and you jump up and you rush out to meet with them. Your life should be busy doing stuff that you enjoy, and that is not an act. I am suggesting that you really do have a life that so filled with so many things that you absolutely love doing. So should you have to, or should you be asked to go out with someone else, now you've got to consider, are you going to give up that wonderful thing that you were planning on doing to go out with this person? Does this person bring that energy to the table as you bring to it? And we don't know that in the early stages of dating. The first month or two, we're still really, really getting to know a person. Right. That's probably like the first day. Let's call 3 months, 1 day of getting to know a person. It takes a really long time. And the way we show up at the very beginning of the relationship gives a good idea and indication of how the relationship is going to progress. If that person is reaching out, or if they've reached out and they said, hey, you know what, I am so sorry I did not get back to you. I know it's been such a long time. I'd really like to see you again. I really had a great time at our date. Are you available this weekend and you've got a good 2 days before the weekend? Then yes, you can consider that because one, the person's apologized for not reaching out to you in a very long time, said that they've had a good time with you, and they've given you enough time to decide on if you'd like to go out with them again. You go out with them a second time if you've liked them. And again, you're just getting to know the person. Now you're in a new dynamic where it's like, you've got to wait to see how they respond, how they react after your second date. And you do the same thing you've done the first time. Thank you for a wonderful time. It was lovely to meet you again. And wait, see what happens. And wait, as the relationship continue, you're looking for consistency. Now, I'm not saying you look for the same consistency of them staying away for about 2 weeks and then reaching out with a, hey, I'm really sorry, I did not get back to you. It was nice seeing you. Do you have availability this weekend? That's kind of consistency you don't want. You don't want that for the entire dating period because we don't know what happens when it's time for bigger commitments, right? So you want to look for consistency. You want to look for care. And one of the most important things you want to look for is how you're feeling in the relationship. Are you feeling like this person cares about you? Are you feeling like this person is interested in seeing you? If you start to question it at any point, like, oh, I'm not really sure, they reached out about a week ago, they seemed excited, now they want to see me again tonight, oh, I guess they're really excited about this, then chances are that we might be misreading something here. You see, sometimes a person reaches out last minute because they realize that they don't have anything else to do, and you don't want to put yourself in that position. You just don't want someone to feel like you can easily be picked up and dropped whenever they're ready. You're an individual with emotions that needs to be respected. You need to be cared for. You need to feel respected and cared for. And how we show up at the very beginning of relationships will set the tone for the rest of the relationship. Look, I've been down this path many times before where I rush into the relationship projecting how I feel and think about relationships onto others, thinking that everyone can be trusted, everyone's on the same page, especially if you're on a dating site. You think everyone's out there looking for a long-term committed relationship in dating. People have different ideas of what they're looking for in a relationship. They have different ideas of what commitment looks like. 2 questions you want to ask on your first date. Those questions are, what does a healthy relationship look like? And you want to hear things like communication is really important. How we raise children, if we plan on having children, is really important. Having these conversations early on, or that I would like to have children after finding a healthy relationship. A healthy relationship looks like being vulnerable, sharing my truth, or feeling comfortable and safe to share my truth, having a space to talk about my feelings, having someone be able to receive me and try to understand where I'm coming from. Trust is important in a healthy relationship, and trust comes from being transparent. So these are that's a question that you want to ask early in the relationship. What does a healthy relationship look like to me or to you? And the second question you want to ask is, what caused the end of your last relationship? And when did the last relationship end? How long was your last relationship? Now, these are just 2 questions. There are tons of questions that you want to keep asking as time goes on, but I want to touch on these 2, and so that you have enough time for this to sink in and you can process it. The reason for the second question is you want to know how long the last relationship lasted, so that you have a good idea of how strong a bond those 2 people have had. And you also want to know how long did this person really take before getting back on the dating scene after that breakup? And that gives an idea of, did they really do any healing work to get over that last relationship, to process the breakup, to perhaps make some adjustments to their behavior, their personality, their patterns, so that a new relationship can be a little more, let's say, healthy, long-lasting than the last one. So these are two questions that you want to consider. And remember, again, we're looking for consistency. Remember why we look for consistency, and take your time. Enjoy the dating process. Enjoy it. Enjoy just getting to know another person, so that as time moves on and you're getting to know this person, you're also getting to know yourself, your strength, and that's where you start to build that trust that you could depend on you to take care of you. I hope this was helpful. If it was, share it with your friends, subscribe to this channel, and leave me a comment. Let me know what your takeaways are. Have a great day, a great week ahead. Until our next episode, I am Annalisa Bahadur.